Hello, my name is Abdur, and today I will be discussing the scientific evidence that proves the existence of a creator. Have you ever looked around you in awe and pondered about nature's beauty, complexity, and precision? Because of their lack of knowledge, many people assume that nature is a result of random processes. However, random processes can only yield random results. When we study biological systems closely, we consistently find patterns of order, structure, and coordination that are difficult to explain as random chance. Today, I'll present the scientific evidence that shows how the complexity and precision of living systems can only be evidence of a creator. Quick note, I'll do my best to not refer to any religious text or facts. Therefore, I will only stick to scientific proof and logic. First, I will discuss the complexity in living organisms. Second, I will explain the precision in biological systems. And third, I will show how nature is interconnected. If you look around you, you'll find that biotic organisms make up a huge part of the ecosystem. No matter their size or shape, these living organisms are very complex and fine-tuned. One example of biological complexity is the mosquito. Despite their small size, mosquitoes are not simple insects. They have many systems that help them survive. According to National Geographic, mosquitoes have systems that sense carbon dioxide, body heat, movement, and even body odors to locate their target with precision. Talk about hidden talent. They also have specialized feeding mechanisms. Female mosquitoes use their feeding tube called a proboscis to pierce the skin of the host, injecting an enzyme that prevents blood from clotting, while drawing blood through another tube. This system is not random. It is highly specific and functional. In addition, mosquitoes go through a complex life cycle filled with multiple stages, from the egg to the larva to the pupa and finally to adult. Every stage is special, as each one requires different environmental conditions in order for the organism to survive and successfully transition to the next stage. All of these systems, sensing, feeding, and development, must work together perfectly for the mosquito to live and reproduce. Another example of complexity in living organisms is bees. Bees rely on highly organized biological and behavioral systems. According to Encyclopedia Britannica, honeybees are very social insects that live in large interconnected colonies with specific roles, such as workers, drones, soldiers, and the queen. Bees also demonstrate advanced communication. They perform a behavior known as the waggle dance, where they share precise information about the location and quality of food sources through specific movements. Like mosquitoes, bees go through a complex life cycle, again, from the egg to the larva to the pupa and finally to adult. When we look at this level of organization, communication, and coordination, it becomes difficult to explain it as purely random. Instead, it suggests a system that appears carefully structured and purposeful. Now that we have examined complexity in living organisms, let's look at how biological systems themselves operate with precision and regulation. Biological systems are made up of many interconnected parts that must work together in a precise and coordinated way to sustain life. Even small changes in timing or function can disrupt the entire system. This shows the complexity and organization found in living organisms. Human development is one of the clearest examples of biological precision. According to Encyclopedia Britannica, the biological development of human beings follows a highly organized sequence. Starting from a single cell, the cells divide, specialize, and form tissues and organs in a coordinated and regulated order. These processes are controlled by genetic information and biological signals that determine how the body is built step by step. If the human development was random, then there would be no cohesion during the development process. This shows that human life is built through a highly structured biological program. Another example of precision in biological systems is blood clotting in the human body. When a person gets injured, the body activates a complex cascade of proteins and cells that work together to stop the bleeding. According to Cleveland Clinic, the process involves a tightly regulated sequence where platelets gather at the wound site and activate clotting factors to form a stable clot. What makes this system remarkable is that it must be both fast and controlled. If it is too weak, the bleeding continues. If it is too strong, it can cause harmful blockages in the blood vessels. When we observe this level of order, where the human development and body processes function through tightly timed steps, it becomes difficult to explain it as purely random. Instead, it shows a system that is highly organized and purposeful, pointing toward the idea of a designed and intentional creator behind it. Beyond individual organisms and internal biological systems, nature also shows deep interconnection between living things. One example of interdependence in nature is the mulberry trees. Mulberry trees are deciduous trees that produce berries. They support many forms of life. According to Wikipedia, their leaves are the main food source for silkworms, which are used in silk production. Their fruit is also eaten by birds and other animals, making the tree an important part of both natural ecosystems and human use. Beyond ecosystems, mulberry trees have also been used by humans for food, medicine, and materials such as textiles and paper. This shows that a single plant can support multiple species and human needs at the same time. Going back to the bees, they also demonstrate interdependence in nature. Bees rely on flowering plants for nectar, while plants rely on bees for pollination. This relationship allows both to survive and reproduce. Without bees, many plants would struggle to reproduce effectively, and without plants, the bees would lose their food source. When we look at these relationships, it shows that living systems are not isolated or random. Instead, they are interconnected in a way where different organisms depend on each other in a balanced and coordinated system, supporting the idea of a purposeful design in nature. In conclusion, we examined many examples that show that biological systems are not random or disconnected. Instead, they are structured, precise, and deeply interconnected across every level of life. As science continues to explore living systems in greater detail, it continues to reveal even more layers of order and complexity. This leads to an important question. Is all of this the result of random processes alone, or does it point toward intentional design and the creator behind it? Thank you very much and have a nice day.